Hey, I'm Rin. Welcome to my channel. So after thinking over it a bit, I've decided that we're going to be building Cipher this time around. Let's see what we can do here. Cipher, the newest released character in Honkai Star Rail as of this recording. A cunning thief with the power of making any lie she tells become the truth. Oh, this is gonna be a fun build for me. Though I do wonder if I'm going about it the right way when I'm planning this. Ah well, that trouble is for another time. Maybe when I get the chance of rethinking it over in my head. So she's a tricky thief who ascended to demigodhood 1,000 years prior, a Chrysos Heir, known for her talented lies and incredible speed. To make her in D&D, we'll probably need to work out on how her story will play out in that world, and what we need to do to make her as close to the character as possible without, causing some problems along the way. First off, we need the groundworks of making her. That includes figuring out her race, class, ability scores, background feats, languages, proficiencies, magic, and her equipment. Building Cipher came out to be a lot easier than I thought it would be. Well, not exactly easy, that's not the right word, but it's quite interesting. The build isn't the most conventional I've made, and the story kind of shifted because of that. I hope nobody minds it too much. But anyway, let's move on to the build itself. Let's see what I've come up with. Here's a Star Thief Cipher. Cipher, the Chrysos Heir of trickery and lies. I hope no one judges me too harshly about this, but when I see a cat, I say it's a cat. Yep, I went with the tabaxi race for Cipher. What else was I supposed to go with? Laracocra? A fleet-footed feline race that gives bonuses to dexterity and has a special dexterity feat all to itself. I was gonna pick it for Cipher no matter what other race there was. I wonder if it makes me insane if I do this, but then again, they get extra dexterity. They are agile in combat, like someone else we know. They also get bonuses to stealth and perception, which is always useful for a character like her. It's the perfect fit for her, and I didn't want to pick anything else. But for classes, though, I decided to play with it a bit and went with something a little less conventional, but it'll make sense later on when I write the backstory for her. I put 6 levels in Rogue and 1 single level into Cleric, because I thought it would be kind of funny. I gave her the trickery domain for her cleric level, and though it started off as a joke, it came out to be quite helpful when building her. Yep, that 1 level in the trickery domain gives her advantage in stealth checks, and that's all I asked for. Additionally, it came with a few little spells you could pick out for her, and I don't want to lie, it's quite fun. But yep, I made something and I can't look back anymore because I've realized it. For the main part of the build, I gave her the Thief subclass for Rogue, and it comes with some fun little gifts along the way, including expertises which I gave in her stealth, sleight of hand, acrobatics, and of course her deception. If you're able to tell a lie so powerful that it actually becomes true, I don't care what you say, you have expertise in deception. Anyway, for the Thief subclass, you get an additional cunning action with the Rogue class, which allows you to disarm traps, unlock locks, and much more. You can also climb faster than normal people, and jump farther too. Always useful if you ask me, especially in sticky situations. And of course, for ability scores, Cipher's dexterity is definitely the highest. Next would be wisdom, just for the cleric spells, intelligence, then constitution, and then strength. Depending on how high you roll, by the way, your dexterity might be insanely high because of the +3 that you get from being a tabaxi and the feat that I gave her. For background, criminal background. Yeah, that makes sense. A well-known thief who roams through Amphorius on her own beat, and the story we see in the game and the lore bits that we know, it's not just because she's a rogue, by the way, it's also because of what we can write for her in D&D, something that would be interesting. Moving on though, I have mentioned her feat a couple of times now, and it's only right for me to actually say it now. Feline Grace, which gives her an extra bonus to her dexterity, allows her to use a tabaxi racial trait twice in one go, and you can't take damage when you chuck yourself off a 20 feet drop, unless you're incapacitated, but other than that, it's pretty useful for a rogue. For languages and proficiencies, I've already mentioned the expertise that come with being a rogue, But there's also three others that I haven't mentioned, those being proficiencies in insight and intimidation, which I added to cause some chaos. She also has proficiency in one gaming set, and that's for your choosing. You can pick whatever you like for her, whether it's cards or dragon chess or whatever. It's up to you what you think is most fitting for her to play. Additionally, she knows one additional language besides Common, and I went with Undercommon for her. As a rogue, it makes sense that she would come across underdog traders and would learn their language, whether it's to work with them or to steal from them. Moving on to magic, I went with some fun little spells that would help with her rogue nature. These are just spells I recommend for her and how I would see her in the D&D world. As a cleric of the trickery domain as well, she also has additional spells that come with her, so don't be surprised if there are some other spells that show up with her when you least expect it to. For level 1, those are Charm Person and Disguise Self, which do still make sense for her, especially when we know the story about what she had done for Okhema to keep the Dawn device going for 1,000 more years. Other than those spells, here are the ones I recommend. First one being Disarm, which makes sense to me for a thief to have. If you don't like Disarm, you can also use Slippery Fingers instead. This one is very similar to it, but instead of strength saving throws, it's charisma ones. Finally, Veil of Shadow is the final recommendation I can give. It helps with stealth a lot, and it is an illusion spell, which suits a character known for her trickery. Moving on to equipment, I don't really like doing this. It really doesn't suit what I'm trying to do here, especially with these kind of videos. I try my hardest to build characters that won't cause problems at the table for the DM or anyone who you play with, and I try my best to build a character who isn't troublesome or unlikable or are overpowered or uncooperative and so on. But I can't get the thought out of my head. I can't ignore the fact that this magical item exists. Why wouldn't you give her this when it's literally mentioned in her story? Okay, to be fair, it was also mentioned that they aren't actually magical in nature, that they're just regular shoes, but come on, let her have it, alright? Why not? Give your cat boots of speed. It's only fair. However, if your DM doesn't allow it, I guess we can just ignore this part of the video. I just want to be able to mimic her ultimate, even if it's just a brief moment, okay? Okay, it's time to write her story now. I'm gonna stick with what we know, stick with the story that would be interesting for her. Let's just go ahead, shall we? I went a bit of a roundabout way when building her, that's for sure, but I'll try my best to tie into the story that we already know about Cipher, and how it ties to the build we gave her. I hope you don't mind, it's something that I'm pretty happy with actually. But let's move on now, shall we? Here's what I have. She was an unlucky girl, an urchin who roamed from town to town, trying to stay alive when the world around her had done everything in its power to take her out. A cautious girl, hated by those who had come across her. A sly one who only ever had her quick legs and sharp tongue as her tools for surviving on her own. She hated the stories she had heard about the heroes of the realm, ugly, greedy people who flaunt themselves to the crowds of cheering fools, who see them as akin to gods, where they're nothing more than mortals like the rest of them. She hated hearing how lucky everyone was to have heroes like them, to keep the good people alive when she had been forgotten for so long. Why did it matter that she was descended from someone like that? Why did it matter that she had the blood of a hero running through her veins, when all it had brought her was ruin for so long? She decided to take a chance one day with a maiden who lived in the biggest city of the region, a well-known seamstress who used to be a part of an adventuring group who had sought to bring the world into a new age of prosperity. Of course, the girl didn't care about who the maiden was, or what they had accomplished in their past. All she wanted was the shiny golden sword that she had tucked away at the back of her shop. She yanked it off the wall, but her hunger gave way to temptation when the warm smell of a honey-sweet porridge wafted through her nose. It was pure weakness when she guzzled down the sweet porridge, and her exhaustion from never-ending days of travel overwhelmed her before she even had the chance to think twice about what she was doing. She fell into a deep slumber underneath the desk of the well-loved hero, and once she woke up, She found herself tucked beneath the covers of a silky white bed, with a strange woman sitting at the foot of it. The girl practically leapt across the room as she tried to escape the gaze of the golden seamstress. But as her hand grabbed for the knob of the wooden door, she heard a cold voice call to her, and an untimely chill ran down her spine. "Little glutton, did you have fun? You treated my workshop as your personal playground today. You ate my lunch, and you did not even spare my old weapon on my mantle." Why did it matter to her what she did? Nothing was off the table if it meant silencing the starvation that plagued her. She had all the money she needed to live a comfortable life for the next 1,000 years. Why did it matter to her that a sickly girl took a minuscule amount from it? She expected the woman, the hero of the realm, to hold her there until the gods would arrive to lock her up. She expected her to take the sword from her possession and slash her throat with it if she so pleased. Instead, though, the Golden Maiden smiled at her and gestured for the girl to come sit with her for a little while longer. It was a strange request, the girl must admit, to allow herself to accept the help of someone who embodied everything she hated about the world. Time went on, and before she knew it, she found herself running through the streets of the city, gathering intel for the seamstress who could spin gold from the air itself. Then one day, she came across a strange-looking man who claimed to be a jester from a faraway land. He asked the girl if she'd be willing to offer her hand in something he needed help with. With nothing to do that day, the girl agreed, but only to appease the curiosity that she had for the man. And with a sudden flash of light, the strange individual disappeared from her vision, leaving only a dust of purple in his wake. Something changed that day. She can't be sure why the Golden Maiden claimed she had been visited by a good-willed trickster who had taken a liking to her. What a bunch of nonsense. Who would truly be interested in someone like her anyway? She's just a run-of-the-mill thief anyway. Even so, she can feel a change that had come over her that day. And maybe it's just the curious nature of the whole scenario that can't sit right in her head. "It's quite all right, child. If you need to leave this place, I will not stop you," the gold weaver told her as she sat at the window, strumming a lyre. "Will you hate me if I never return?" The young girl asked her, and she could only laugh at the response. "It's quite all right. Run, child. Only you know where your path ends." And with that, she slipped through the door of the house once more, facing the unknown on her own again. This was quite a long one, but I hope it's okay with you guys. I tried my best to stick to the original story as close as possible, while sprinkling in a motivation and explanation for that one level in the trickery domain. It's a story, that's for sure. I hope you guys like it, and if there's any changes that you wish to add, go for it. I'm not here to dictate anything, I'm just here to entertain. Anyway, I shall end it here for today. Like and subscribe if you like. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care.